And they'll probably be up in a little while. So I hope I can get this quick. And I don't know if I've told you some of this stuff. And time gets really blurry for me. Paul wants me to keep a short journal every night, like a mood journal, and he's right. But I'm lazy about that. Maybe if I had a book, present it to me. When I take my meds, he thinks when I take my meds, I should jot down, today, was fine. Today I cried a lot, or whatever. But anyway, last Monday might have been okay. I really don't remember it, but I don't think that was anything bad. And then Tuesday, Paul had the day off, and I don't remember if there was anything weird between us. And I think there wasn't. I think it was fine. And then Wednesday came, and I was totally depressed. I laid on the couch for many hours, not interacting with Poppy, while she did her games and stuff. And she was oblivious, which is alarming. Also, sidetrack, I could barely drag myself up to get her food to eat. I did, I stayed aware that she needs to eat. That was some reality that I was hanging on to, a responsibility. It was painful. And then I'd go back to the couch, and I felt just numb. And then, that was a Wednesday. Thursday, something bad happened. Oh, okay. Thursday, I had an edgy feeling. Not angry, but just nerve tingling, sensitive, anxious, kind of different anxious, this twitchy kind of easily spooked. And I didn't want a repeat of the depression the day before. And so we all went to Starbucks, and then Paul went on his way to work, and I could have gone to Food Town, but I knew if I went to Food Town, then I would just go right home, and who knows. And so I was like, okay, we'll go to Whole Foods, and I have my Snap card, and I have my regular card, and there's this playground near Whole Foods, so we'll go there first so Poppy can get her play on, and then we'll go to Whole Foods. And we did that, and at first it was fine. We got Italian ices from the ice cream truck, and we ate them, and she didn't really like hers, so she tossed it. And then she saw this woman with a big kite flying around on the other end of the park, which wasn't a very big park. And all these kids are running, and so she just joined that, and she looked really happy running back and forth and chasing the kite for a while. And I was like, oh, this is good. But I was also kind of is anything gonna happen? And she played for a long time, very happily, very much part of the group. And then all of a sudden, she yanked the cord out of the mother's hand, really aggressively. And then I guess the mother's daughter or whoever, one of the kids, started crying. And the mother, got down on her knee and was, talking to Poppy. And I was, eating my Italian ice. And I didn't want to walk over and deal with this while eating my Italian ice. I just felt like it would be awkward. So I was like, I'm going to observe how this plays out. And I'm, eating my Italian ice. And she is just sitting kind of, on her knees or, that sort of squatting, holding herself position. And very still, just out of the way of what everyone was doing. So I finished my ice. I walked over there and I got down, and she immediately started crying when she saw me. I don't think she had been crying. And she like rapidly explained what was happening, and I was like, I saw you like having a lot of fun, but then I saw you pull the cord away, and that seemed to upset people. And she's like, it was my turn. They said it was my turn, and that it was going to be my turn next, and like she seemed really distraught. And I don't know what the truth is. I mean, I doubt a grown mother would be like, next it's your turn, and then not let her, or if she was just too abrupt, like, or if she just made it up, like, now it's my turn, like, I don't know. So we go down to the other side of the playground where there's play structures, and there's like some boys and girls that are a little older and a little younger, like a good mix. And she gets up on the play structure, and they're chasing each other around. Everything's cool, no aggression, like from anybody. And they even asked her name, like the older girl. And so a lot of these play structures have, I don't know what they're called. Poppy calls them a xylophone, but they're like tubes, metal tubes, like with it's musical. And nearby is a slide, and Poppy just makes up this thing. She's standing on top of the play structure near that, and she's like, nobody can go down the slide unless they touch the xylophone 2 times. And like, nobody like paid attention. I mean, her voice is kind of squeaky, and also it's like a dumb rule, and they didn't care. They didn't like bother her for it, or like they just ignored it. And it was almost like she didn't care, like it was like her role. She didn't seem to be getting mad or escalating or anything. She just did her. She just kept doing it, and I felt like, come on, like it was like weird and nerdy, like, and I'm like, does she not to play well with others? Like, yeah, it's like worrisome to me. But she had been playing well with others. She had been like interacting during the chase stuff and like laughing, and she actually seemed happy doing this. So just really closely monitoring it to see if there's any conflict with anybody. And because she's had some play structure incidents. So if anybody went down the slide without, everybody went down the slide without doing what she wanted, but sometimes she would run over the slide and be like, you didn't do the xylophone. You'd be totally ignored. Then this grandpa with like a 1-year-old comes over, and the grandpa's like gently like easing this baby down the slide, and Poppy goes over there and gets in this baby's face, and she's like, you didn't get the xylophone, like really aggressive as a baby. So I'm over there immediately, and I'm like, come on, let's go. And I take her to the bench, and I was like, you just screamed in the face of a baby. And she's like, well, he didn't, the rules. And I'm like, you know what? Nobody cared about your rules. It's just something you made up that nobody agreed upon, and they don't have to agree upon, and they don't have to obey. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, even if they all had agreed to your rule, that's a baby who could never understand your rule, and you screamed in his face, we have to go. That's totally, totally unacceptable. And she was kind of submissive, and like we left. She didn't really argue with me about that after a while. And so then we go to Whole Foods, and we go to the lunch, buffet, and you can't pay with that stuff with Snap. So, like, okay, I've got my $20 cash, and I have my card, so they'll cover lunch. And we compile tasty lunches and drinks, and we go to pay for it, and I take out my wallet, and my debit card is not in there, which is really, really weird. Like, I'm a space cadet, but that's like, it's just weird. Like, I don't know why that happened. So I'm like, okay, it's $20. Where's the $20? And like, it's not in the wallet. And like, I'm like rummaging through my purse and like feeling hot, and there's someone behind me, and I feel the checkout person just like watching, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I don't have any way to pay for this. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, well, I had like $6 or something. And she's like, I can just ring it down to like what you can pay for. And I was like, okay, thank you. And that turned out to be a cornbread for Poppy. And I could have had, no, I don't think I could have had, the food was in boxes. They were really heavy. So for me, I chose my drink and drink for Poppy. So she had cornbread and then a soda. And you just texted me back and I still on my fourth. Probably. I'm sure I was just checking my bills calendar. Um, so, anyway, it was humiliating. It was soul crushing. And we go, Poppy didn't seem that bothered. She's eating her cornbread. Like, she loves cornbread. I'm drinking my drink. Hungry. And it's just like my soul took a nosedive. Like, I guess it's like the humiliation, the not having the food that we had carefully picked out, being hungry. So I called Paul just to like be like, FML. And he was like, are you hungry? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not starving, but I'm getting there. And he's like, go and like buy stuff that you can eat, like bread and cold cuts, and like pay for a Snap. And like, he kept saying that. And I was like, picturing me like opening a package of bread in the aisles. Like, I don't understand. And I was like, I don't think I can do that. And he was like, you should do that. Like, you just take care of yourself. And I was like, I can't just like eat ham. Like, it's so watery. Like when you open up the package, like, and he's like, pay for it and then go eat it in the eating area. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then I started feeling extremely spaced out. All of our dissociative, I guess. I don't know, just spaced out. I mean, I was in reality, but like, just, I mean, in a way, some kind of whatever brain thing. Like, things were a little wavy and I was a little shaky, and I had my list, but I couldn't focus on it. And I was like, I'll just improvise. And there's a whole bunch of things I should have gotten that I didn't. And I didn't obey Paul's advice because I wanted to get out of there ASAP. And my hunger wasn't at starving level. So that was just unpleasant. Get home. I made a turkey sandwich that helped. And then the evening goes on, and like Poppy's playing. I think she's pretty active. She might have been getting on my nerves a little. Things were okay. And then I'm going to have to do part 2 of this because shit gets heavy. Um, and it was getting a little late, so my deal is when Paul's at work, she gets in that bathtub. Like, she's set up, brushed teeth, in bed, her books, her drawing, everything. And then when he comes home, he can go and visit her for a few minutes. I get her to bed so much earlier. I don't know if I'm getting her to sleep a lot earlier, but I get it going so that there's potential for her to sleep earlier. Because she doesn't know the difference between midnight and 10 o'clock. I guess she may not have expended enough energy to go to bed at 10 o'clock or something, but just getting her into the groove. Anyway,